Well, welcome back, everyone. I am excited about bringing on my next guest, who is Amie Mendoza, and she's with the law offices of Amie Mendoza. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Carol. I'm really happy to be here.
Now, let's talk a little bit about what you do, what kind of law you practice,
Sure.
and what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, well, I'm a personal family lawyer, so we focus on estate planning primarily for families, especially for families with small children.
Right. That's what we want to talk about, because normally people tend to put this off until they're older.
They do, and they shouldn't, especially for families with young children. There's a number of things that can go wrong and can be pretty devastating to families if they don't plan properly, if something happens to them before their children are 18.
Right. Now, when people get married, they start to put that in the back of their head a little bit, and then they get pregnant, and then they start to think about it a little bit more. But they still don't do it. Why?
You know, I don't know. There's a 69% of people with children under the age of 18 actually don't have guardians nominated for their children. And there are so many, kind of horror stories out there about things happening to families and their children being left stranded with, families fighting over guardianship, or somebody they didn't want to take their children, taking their children. There's a number of things that are scary there. I don't know why people put it off. I think it's one of those things where at my firm we call ourselves personal trainers for estate planning, because we make you get things done in the right way in the right time. And I know it's one of those things that you just need to get done.
I'll tell you something, I'm not going to say how old I am, but I'm much older, and I just lost my parents. I wish I had a personal guardian right now.
Right.
But seriously, let's talk about something that you're going to offer everybody. This is a 2-hour family legacy. It's a planning session. What are they going to get? What does that look like?
It's amazing, actually. It's a lot of fun. What we'll do is we'll whiteboard out together, personally, me and you, exactly what would happen to you if you didn't change a thing and you passed away today, if you didn't change anything. And then we'll talk about what you like and don't like about that, and what maybe some options are for you to make that a little bit better for you. And then we design a plan for you that's going to fit your needs.
I love that. I love the way you do that. That's a whiteboard that you do that on?
I do.
It's very cool. This is a $750 value, free to you. Now listen up here. This might be something for you, and it also be someone that you know, especially, my gosh, if you know somebody getting married, I would give them something like this. What a great gift to give to somebody.
Absolutely.
Now our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You can call in, get yourself entered in to win this. You can check her out on her website, which is mylawaz.com. She's located in Tempe, but you can help anyone from anywhere.
Absolutely. Anywhere in Arizona.
Anywhere
Absolutely.
in Arizona. And the phone number for her is area code 480-418-7381. But I really think that everybody should call in for this. This is an amazing 2-hour family legacy planning session that you're going to get. It's a $750 value, free to you. Our number here again is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. Okay, what are the risks if you don't do something like this early on? We're talking early on now.
Well, so if you don't do it early on, you can risk having your children exposed to a system that, is not necessarily going to look out for their best interests. And you can risk sending your family to court and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on the probate process and on guardianship processes that your family shouldn't have to go through. So really the goal is keep your family out of court.
Keep your family out of court. Now, we're again talking right now about young families, people who have just gotten married, people who have children that are young, or, of teenage years or whatever, that have not thought about this. And, some of the stories, let's just say, give me one of them. I want to hear, because I'm sure you've got a lot of them, of somebody that didn't do it, because, we all think we're going to live forever. We all think that nothing's ever going to happen to us, especially when we're younger, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, tragically, this is a story from 2006. Like you said, there are so many of them. A family was traveling. It was a family that lived in California. They were traveling in Arizona, and they were in an accident. Mom, dad, 3 boys. The parents didn't survive. All 3 children did. They didn't have any type of planning in place. Their family knew that they talked about it and wanted to get it done, just like everybody does. However, what ended up happening was a year-long court battle between relatives trying to get care of the children, thousands and thousands of attorney's fees and costs there. And the children had to stay, this is the horrible part, the children had to stay in Child Protective Services custody while this was going on so that the court could determine who they should be with. So is that what the parents would have wanted? You know, I highly doubt it. And simple estate planning can really take care of all of that.
And again, we want to emphasize that she focuses on young families, okay? And you have a lot of different things. We also have some common myths and things like that, which we're going to talk about too. And I want to open up the lines here for everyone to be able to get this. It's a 2-hour, $750 value, free to you, family legacy planning session. Again, tell them what it is that you do there with that.
That's a whiteboard session where we look at exactly what you have in your estate today and exactly what would happen if you didn't change a thing. And then we identify what you like and don't like about that and customize a plan that works for you and your family.
And if it's not you, give it to someone you know. Give this as a gift to somebody because it's very, very, very valuable. Again, the number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone's going to get one of these. And we've got her website as mylawaz.com. And her phone number direct, she's located in Tempe but can help anyone from anywhere, is 480-418-7381. Okay, families that have done planning, but they did it themselves or they did it with a traditional lawyer.
Right.
What's the difference?
You know, there's a lot that goes into making a custom plan that works for you and keeps your family out of court. I can't tell you how many times somebody has come into my office and said, you know, I have a father, he's got a power of attorney, it says I should be able to take care of his financial affairs for him, but the court's not letting me do it, or the bank's not letting me do it, and now I have to go get guardianship legally and get a court order that says I can do this. Proper planning doesn't let that happen. You know, do it yourself. You're probably going to make mistakes that are going to make sure that this doesn't work in the future. And doing it with an attorney who may or may not necessarily know the ins and outs of all of this is probably going to be very dangerous for you too.
And doing it yourself has got to be the worst thing in the world. I know that there's commercials on television for things like this. You think that you're going up onto the websites and you think that that's all great because you believe in it, and you can make terrible mistakes.
Yeah, you know, and it's really not about your documents at the end of the day, right? It's about an understanding between you and your personal family lawyer that kind of plans things out that work for you. It's not, you know, it's not does this document say this, it's that my attorney understands that this document needs to contain certain provisions that are going to be special to me and my family and make sure that we stay out of court.
So give the number one myth that it would be the most common mistakes that people don't, you know, prepare for.
You know, when people try to name guardians for their children and don't really think it through the way that they should, oftentimes they might pick a couple. They might pick a husband and wife.
I've seen it done.
Yeah, or, you know, sister and brother, or whatever, and don't understand that perhaps maybe they want Sally, but not if Sally and Bob aren't married, only if
there's
Bob is
stipulations?
there, right? And if Sally and Bob divorce, is it either Sally or Bob that you want raising your kid? I mean, have you thought about that?
This is why you need an attorney. They think about these things. Go ahead.
Right. No, really, that's one of the most common mistakes.
So it's just not just naming someone, it's being explicit with something in case something happens to them too.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
We're going to go to a break. When we come back, I want to talk further about some of the things that you can do to help. I have a couple of questions about my own that I would think about. And our lines are open here, and everyone who's calling in is going to get her 2-hour, it's a 2-hour family legacy planning session. It's a $750 value, free to you. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Again, we're talking basically she works with families with young children, but you know, on up to probably in their teens or 30s or what have you. Don't wait, don't do it yourself. Check her out on her website. It is mylawaz.com or 480-418-7381 or call here at 602-277-5369. We're back. We're talking with Amie Mendoza, and she is the owner of the law offices of Amie Mendoza. She's located in Tempe, but can help anyone from anywhere. And family planning. She focuses on families with younger, not just babies on up. Obviously in your 30s, anybody could really do this, but she focuses on families with younger, starting off, those types of families. And she's offering for everyone who's calling in. It's a 2-hour family legacy planning session for anyone that didn't hear that. Because a lot of people, it was the commercial break. Go ahead and tell them again what that is, because it's awesome.
Sure, it's 2 hours of my time, and what we'll do is we'll sit down and whiteboard out exactly what would happen with your estate if you didn't change a thing about it today and you passed away. And then we look at what you like and you don't like about that, and then we design a plan that suits your needs.
And it's a 2-hour family legacy planning session. That's a $750 value, free to you. You're listening to this if you know anybody with young children, anybody with a family. If you're a grandparent out there listening to this, please give it to them. Enter, everyone's going to get it, so why not? Give us a call here at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. One thing I didn't ask you before, do you do consultations? Is it a free how does that work?
Yeah, I don't typically do free consultations.
But you do people can call, they call you and sort of talk to you a little bit about what it is, and then you can work with them? Getting in on this, you really have to start doing the family legacy planning, and that's sort of doing it that way, right? Again, you can check her out on her website. It's mylawaz.com, or call here at 602-277-5369. Where were we here? All right. So you had said that people should not do it on their own, obviously. We've talked a little bit about stories. Do you want to bring up another one before we go into some of the myths?
Yeah, a story about an individual who did a trust through an attorney who necessarily didn't care too much about what was going on at the end of the day. Created a trust for himself, went along his business like he thought everything was done, and come to find out when he passed away that his family was stuck going through the probate process anyway. This is a lot of information, but basically if you're not titling your assets in the right way and you have a trust, you might as well not have paid the money to do it. So you can spend a lot of money on a plan, even with an attorney, if they're not going to follow through up and make sure that you get everything done the right way after they've done drafting your documents. You're going to be left paying more money in the end.
Okay, you brought up a good point, because if you're early on and you're thinking about this, again, most people don't, that where they're just having their families, they're just starting off. Along the line, as they're going on, do you do, I don't know what you would call that, where you do an assessment on what's happening now, because there might be a third child now born or what have you? Go ahead.
Yes, I love that you asked me that. Every single plan that I do has built into the cost that you pay up front a 3-year review. So every 3 years I'm going to be sitting down with you, and we're going to be looking over everything that you've got in place and seeing what updates need to be done to that.
That's very, very important. So everyone's getting a 2-hour family legacy planning session. It's a $750 value, free to you. It is invaluable. I really truly believe this. I know I'm going through it right now, and my father was much older and I'm much older, and I wish that he might have done things a little differently too, and I'm sure everybody goes through that when there's no one to ask. Right?
I'm telling you, Carol, people don't know how hard it is until they have to go through it, because you would think it would be easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the child of your father, so you think you can just go and take care of things for him, right? But it's just not that easy. You have to go to court, you have to get judge's approval, really, honestly, nobody that's over the age of 18 should be going through that probate process. It's completely avoidable with the right planning.
And I'm going to say this too, it doesn't matter how much money one has. It's not about being a millionaire.
No.
Certainly that wasn't my case. So, but it's not about that at all.
No.
You can have very little.
Absolutely. You can have anybody over the age of 18, like I said, no matter what you've got, you have an estate. People think, estate means, the wealthy, the millionaires. No, it really doesn't. Because what goes into estate planning is not only taking care of your family, making sure that they're staying out of court and not having to pay extra fees and all of the rest, but it's also you're planning for your incapacity. We're every single one of us going to get older. So there's going to come a time when someone's going to have to step in and take care of us. And if we haven't set it up properly, we could get sucked into a system that's not going to take care of us.
Her phone number is 480-418-7381. It's myLawAZ.com. Call here, get yourself a 2-hour, $750 value family planning legacy session with her. And that our number here is 602-277-5369. And toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Before I do this one, I want to hit their hearts, because this is really, really true. Talk to them about the person that they appoint to be the executor of the will. How hard is it?
Well, so it depends on what they've done in advance, really.
Exactly.
I mean, it's so,
But
you can
it's
make
hard.
it so easy.
Right. There, that's
and
what I want you to talk
can
about.
make it so hard.
Mhm.
If you are in a situation where, you know, your loved one has passed away and you're stepping up to take control of what's going on, and they haven't done the appropriate planning, and they haven't detailed out for you what's going on. You know, one of the things I make all my clients do is put an inventory together of all of their assets. So, and that inventory we update every 3 years as things are going along, so that when it comes time, you're not looking for, where's the life insurance policy, and do I need this, and do I need that? It's all there laid out for you. It's very, very easy.
And when you do that, you're making it easier on everybody else, and it's not an easy task for anybody who's doing that. Now, I want to go back also into something very important, especially here in Arizona. We have so many people that have families that live elsewhere, okay? They live out of town, and they think they have an estate. Are they right or wrong? Did I say that right? I don't know. Go ahead.
No, you know, what's interesting about that, and I'm glad you brought up the where does your family live point, because one of the things that people need to focus on that they don't often focus on is the fact that if you are choosing a guardian for your minor child and they don't live in the state that you live in, you can run a really large risk of having your child stay in protective custody services for a very long time until that relative can get into town to take that child if something happens to you. So what you got to focus on is, have I named temporary guardians? This is something that non-managing attorneys do. We do that. We name temporary guardians. They're within 20 minutes of your house. We name backups to those guardians. And those people can make sure that they can take your children right away, so that, I mean, I'm a mom. For 5 minutes,
I don't
want
want somebody
my
with
son.
my kids
Right,
still.
Right, right.
They're 20. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really, really important. It's something that a lot of people don't think about.
Right. You know what? And that's where you need somebody there that can help you with this. It's not, you can't do it yourself. And it's so personal too. You can't do it with somebody that you know either. You have to do it with somebody you can really trust.
Right.
And you've been doing this for a while?
Yes, I have, a few years now.
Okay.
So I opened my practice a little over a year ago here in Tempe.
And everyone is calling in, you're getting entered, not entered in, everyone's getting in. It's 2 hours, $750 value family legacy planning session, 602-277-5369. Okay, another myth.
Well, you know, a mistake that people make is they don't name backups. So somebody will name guardians for their kids, and actually people to execute their estate as well. They're the personal representative, the executor, and they just name one person, and they don't name backups to that person. Well, what if that person can't do it, or if they've already passed away? You need to name backups. It's really important.
And what else is another one?
You know, people oftentimes don't think to exclude people from being able to take guardianship of their children. So I know everybody out there has a family member or a friend that they would never want raising their child. I do. And I do confidential exclusions of those with my clients. So we make sure that if a judge ever needs to see why someone shouldn't have custody of the children, that's clear.
Yeah, and when somebody has they have to have both, don't they? Should they have both a trust and a will even in the beginning?
You know, absolutely. For reasons that we've already talked about, ease of management of assets, right? The only way to make sure you're not going to probate is with a trust. And I always like to say, where there's a will, there's a probate, because probate will be mandated if you only have a will. If you have a trust, you're not going to have to go through the court system. Your family can stay out of court. They can do things when they want, as quickly or as slowly as they want, so that they can grieve. And especially if you have young children, if you have a trust set up for them, then you can actually do really cool things like protect their inheritance from future lawsuits and future divorces, and predators, all of those things that you won't necessarily be able to do otherwise.
So it's really important that you know everything and you have somebody that you can talk to and trust and come up with these things for you to think about. You can make those choices whether you want to do it or not, but it's good to have somebody bring it up to your attention, because if you don't, you would never have known, and if you thought about those things, they sound like a really great idea. She is located in Tempe but can help anyone from anywhere. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this as well. So our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. It's a 2-hour, $750 value family legacy planning session. So call here, or you can call her at 480-418-7381.